Hello everyone. Here are some 30 interview questions and answers regarding QA test methodologies. QA test management and leadership. What is your approach to managing a QA team and ensuring effective collaboration? I ensure clear communication, set well-defined goals, and establish efficient workflows. I encourage collaboration through daily stand-ups, sprint planning, and retrospective meetings. I also provide mentorship and training to enhance skills. How do you handle conflicts within the QA team? I address conflicts by understanding both perspectives, facilitating open communication, and focusing on finding a solution that aligns with team goals. If needed, I involve relevant stakeholders to mediate and resolve issues. What is your experience in managing offshore QA teams? I have experience managing offshore teams by ensuring clear documentation, overlapping working hours for communication, and leveraging collaboration tools like Jira, Confluence, and Slack. How do you measure the effectiveness of your QA processes? I use metrics such as defect density, test coverage, test execution rate, defect leakage, and time to resolution to measure effectiveness. Continuous improvement based on these metrics ensures quality. How do you ensure high test coverage in an agile environment? By implementing risk-based testing, maintaining traceability matrices, and conducting regular reviews of test cases to align with business requirements. Business insurance domain knowledge. What are the key challenges in testing business insurance applications? Challenges include handling complex policy rules, regulatory compliance, integration with legacy systems, and ensuring accurate premium calculations. How do you validate policy underwriting rules in business insurance applications? By creating test scenarios covering different risk factors, premium calculations, endorsements, and policy renewals to verify underwriting compliance. What forces do you consider when testing claims processing in insurance? I test for claim eligibility, fraud detection, payout calculations, and integration with third-party adjusters to ensure smooth claims processing. How do you handle regulatory compliance testing in insurance? I collaborate with compliance teams to ensure test cases cover local regulations, GDPR, SOX, PCI DSS, and execute audits for compliance adherence. How do you validate integrations with third-party systems like rating engines and policy administration? By conducting API testing, verifying data flow accuracy, and running end-to-end scenarios to ensure seamless interaction between systems. Test planning, execution, and defect management. What components should be included in a comprehensive test plan? A test plan includes scope, objectives, test strategy, entry-exit criteria, risk analysis, test environment setup, resources, and timelines. How do you prioritize test cases? I use risk-based testing to focus on high-impact and high-risk areas first. Business-critical functionalities and frequently used workflows are prioritized. How do you handle critical defects found at the last stage of testing? I analyze the impact, communicate with stakeholders, assess possible workarounds, and determine whether a hotfix or rollback strategy is needed. What defect management process do you follow? I use tools like Jira to log, categorize, prioritize, and track defects. I ensure a structured tri-age process for defect resolution. How do you manage test execution across different environments, dev, QA, UAT, production? by maintaining separate test environments, following environment-specific configurations, and executing smoke tests before deeper testing. Manual and automation testing techniques. When do you prefer manual testing over automation? Manual testing is preferred for exploratory testing, usability testing, ad hoc testing, and scenarios that change frequently. What factors do you consider before automating test cases? I consider test case stability, reusability, execution frequency, return on investment, and time saving potential before automation. So, these are the important factors. I consider test case stability. For what factors do you consider before automating test cases? Test case stability, reusability, execution frequency, return on investment, and time saving potential before automation. What automation tools have you worked with for business insurance applications? I have used Selenium for UI automation, Rest Assured Postman for API testing, Appium for mobile testing, and JMeter for performance testing. How do you maintain automation scripts effectively? By using page object model, version control, Git, CI/CD integration, and regular script refactoring. How do you handle the dynamic elements in Selenium? By using XPath with contains, dynamic weights, and CSS selectors to locate elements effectively. QA tools and frameworks. Which test management tools have you used? I've experience with Jira, TestRail, HP ALM, and Zephyr for test case management and defect tracking. How do you integrate automated tests into a CI/CD pipeline? I use Jenkins, GitHub Actions, or GitLab CI/CD to trigger test executions automatically after code commits. How do you ensure API testing quality? By using Postman, Rest Assured, and SOAP UI for API verification, checking status codes, payloads, response times, and security. How do you test microservices architecture? I focus on API testing, contract testing, integration testing, and ensure data consistency across services. What strategies do you use for performance testing business insurance applications? I use JMeter, LoadRunner, and conduct load, stress, and endurance testing to check system stability, leadership communication, and stakeholder management. How do you communicate test results to non-technical stakeholders? I create high-level dashboards, use visuals like charts, and provide business impact analysis instead of technical details. How do you align QA goals with business objectives? By understanding business priorities, collaborating with product owners, and ensuring test cases align with business critical scenarios. How do you manage changing requirements in agile testing? I maintain flexible test cases, conduct exploratory testing, and ensure continuous communication with the development team. How do you handle stakeholder pushback on QA timelines? I provide data-driven justifications, highlight risk areas, and negotiate based on business priorities. How do you encourage a quality-first mindset across teams? By implementing shift-left testing, CI/CD practices, and knowledge-sharing sessions to embed quality from the start. These are some of the important questions and answers regarding QA methodologies in an agile environment and business insurance domain. Thank you very much for listening.